Hello, my name is Shelly Lynn Hughes, and I am the host of Pursue 365's Talk Wednesday. Every week, we have a special guest from our community, and today I am fortunate enough to be interviewing and having a beautiful chat with Michelle Poitier. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Shelly. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy you are here. And I mean, I'm in Canada, in Vancouver, and you're in.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, whoop, whoop. So I'm going to read Michelle's bio here, at least a portion of it, because she has an amazing bio, amazing background. So Michelle Poitier, known as Michelle Speaks, is a force of nature and a voice for recovery and reconciliation. A United States Navy intelligence veteran with 13 years of service, she is a mother, a grandmother, and a leader. Michelle is the CEO of Michelle Speaks. If you hide it, you can't heal it. A coaching and mentoring organization and a graduate of the University of Phoenix with a Bachelor of Science in Management. As a trainer and advocate for the National Alliance of Mental Health, mental illness, Michelle uses her voice to support survivors of domestic and sexual abuse, as well as those facing PTSD and military sexual trauma. Her personal journey of healing from trauma fuels her passion for helping others on their healing journeys. Michelle is also the best-selling author of multiple books for women that encounter trauma, abuse, or mental illness secondary to trauma. And today I'd like to welcome Michelle. We're going to find out exactly what those books are. They're going to be in the bio. But welcome again, and I look forward to getting to know you more today.
Likewise, again, I'm so honored to be able to share the platform with you, Shelly.
Oh, so amazing. So you're from Florida. Before I get into our questions, were you born or raised in Florida?
I was not. I am a transplant from Florida by way of the military. I retired here.
Okay, okay. Where were you born?
So I was born in Tennessee. However, I am the product of Navy parents as well as I'm retired Navy myself. So I lived all over. I'm a free spirit.
So you've lived everywhere, and but
Yes.
I love Tennessee. I've been to
Yes.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. I've been there a couple of times.
I love it. I think it's amazing. One thing that grabbed me was the fireflies.
Right.
I'd
Yeah.
never seen them before, so it was from being
They're
from.
beautiful, but I'm not a big fan of them.
I think Bridges has never seen them. So, who is Michelle Poitier, known as Michelle Speaks?
So first of all, I outside of everything that you've shared, I am a very loving, very adventurous. Some people call it kind of crazy. I just love life. I love nature. I love getting to know people. I love connecting with people. That's who I am personally. Um, yeah, so that's me in a nutshell. I don't like to be boxed in.
Yeah, you're a free
So
spirit.
I am. I'm a quiet force, and if need be, then I make noise. But I just kind of like to, be in the background. Most people say that I bring them a lot of peace. So, I'm a healer through word, touch, and presence. But I just love to explore life.
Oh, that's beautiful. A term that I like to use for myself, because I'm very similar in your thoughts and processes, is I like to call myself a peaceful warrior.
Yes, I love it.
Right? A peaceful warrior. So no harm to others, but we're going to stay strong, right? And
Right,
helping others.
right,
Well, I
right.
love that, Michelle. And I love that you love nature and you're a free spirit like that. That's to me, those are the happiest people.
Less is more. If I had to classify myself, my friends have often told me, they said, you are a minimalist. I'm like, I never really considered myself that because I like nice things, but I don't like clutter.
Oh,
So everything has a place. And if
yeah.
it doesn't, I'm going to find a place for it. But I guess I am. Less is more. I'm very basic. Yeah,
Oh,
as far as what my needs are. I may look like I'm high maintenance, as some people say, but I'm really not.
yeah, but I think you can even look high maintenance, but you're really not high maintenance.
Right.
Like if it take, like I find people that are, the clutter, if you don't have a lot of clutter, so it looks like you're a neat freak, or if you your skin looks good and, that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't think, yeah.
Yeah, and that may be, I credit that to my upbringing in the military. I
Well,
don't.
yes, yes, and I can't wait to get into that. By the way, I find it very, very interesting. So we know a little bit about Michelle Speaks, who she loving nature and free spirit. Um, can you share with us some personal experiences that has shaped you as a person, but also as a speaker and a coach?
Okay. So, as a coach, if someone were to ask me what I do, who I am, so I'm a transformational speaker and I create heart to heart connections, hearing what people say, but sensing what they're not saying. And I journey along the pathway to healing with them. So that's me in a nutshell. Because I really truly believe, my tagline is if you hide it, you can't heal it. And the
Yes,
reason that I'm so passionate about that is because of some things that, transpired when I was little, leading into my teenage years and through my adulthood. So, um, you know, I don't want to go into the depths of it, but, I was started being sexually violated at the age of 6 by
oh my God.
family members.
Wow, Michelle, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It gave me the fuel that I needed to build a fire and a pathway for other women to heal. You know,
Yeah, and they do say that it's more so you're a family member than a stranger.
right, right. Exactly. More often than not, it is someone that you know, if not a family member, a friend, a colleague. You just never know what causes people to do things. That term, that phrase, hurt people, it really is true. But
It is really true.
I just determined not to be one of those ones that, because I was hurt, to hurt. I went to the other extreme. Became um, a fierce advocate for those that have encountered trauma. Yeah.
That is absolutely beautiful. Like that is if, so beautiful because you healed and now you can help others heal.
Hmm.
And imagine how many lives you've changed by your coaching. I just think it's beautiful.
Right.
So we know a little bit about that now. How do you, so professionally, how do you approach your work as a transformational speaker and life recovery coach?
So, I live by this motto. I believe everyone has to have a vision to guide their life, personal, professional, or otherwise. So,
Yeah.
my personal vision for my life is I'm a woman of faith, living life audaciously in spite of seeing the invisible, doing the impossible, and inspiring others to do the same. Because I've had so many challenges, and because people look at me and they're like, I can't believe you've encountered all that and you're still in your right mind and you don't look like what you've been through and you don't look your age. I credit that to my foundation of faith. I am a woman of faith, but also um, what my mother instilled in me years ago, the drive, the will to never give up. Sometimes you may have to give in, but never give up, no
Yes.
matter what. And that's the approach that I take with my speaking and coaching. And you have to have a vision. You have to have community. You have to have the wherewithal to know that there will be peaks and valleys. But when you're at the top of the valley, be preparing. When you're at the bottom of the valley, be prepared. Looking for the peak. But when you're in the peak, be preparing for the valley. And it's a continual thing. It's a cycle. So that's the approach that I take when it comes to speaking and coaching women through trauma. You know, we've been, I don't want to say brainwashed, but we've been grown from a young age to be nurturers as women, putting ourselves last, taking care of everybody else. And this is a thing that I believe drives mankind, especially women. We want to give and receive love. We want to
Yes.
be seen and we want to be heard. So I create an environment for women to do those three things without judgment, without shame, without condemnation. Um, and help them walk through some of the darkest periods of their lives because of my own experience. I not only have lived experience, but um, I have the education, but also the compassion.
Yeah. And you're right. We do want to be seen. We want to be heard. And we do. We try so hard to make everybody else happy that we do leave ourselves last sometimes.
Right. To our
And
own detriment.
I look at before I got to a certain age, I look back at taking care of the family first. But like that whole saying, when you're on the airplane and the plane's going down, you need to kind of take care of yourself first and then
Right.
take care care of everyone else. So now I get that, but and I hope we can teach our younger generation of women that.
Yes. Well, I'm so grateful. My daughter just turned 30 and she gets it. It didn't take her, my 53 years now. It didn't take her as long as it took me to
Hmm.
realize that. But I credit that to having a very transparent relationship with her. Um,
Wow, that's beautiful. So
I'm
you've got a
grateful.
30-year-old daughter.
Yes,
How do you have a 30-year-old daughter? That's living the happy life. That is
it
like getting to a point in
is.
healing and
It is.
yeah.
I am content, Shelly. Like, no matter what comes my
Hmm.
way, I am content. I've learned the art of being content, whether I have much or whether I have little, whether, I'm on the mountaintop or whether I'm in the valley. I've just learned the art of being content. And maybe some of it through my circumstances, my life's experience, but also through the wonderful individuals that God has allowed to cross my path to
Wow. So
support me
I
through.
love that. The art of being content.
Yes,
That there's a lot of depth in that. There is a lot of depth, or like the art of being happy.
yes,
Yeah. I found again earlier in my life, and you probably agree with like this, the more I focused on what negative was going on in my life, the worse it got. But the more I had gratitude and, like you say, the art of being content or
yes,
happy
yes,
and knowing you don't need to have the biggest house, you don't need to have the fanciest car. You just really need to, be able to pay your bills, be healthy, like get to the gym,
yes,
have wonderful people around you. And you don't need a lot. You just need good people
exactly.
and be able to have a roof over your head and feed your children, like, or your family. That's what it boils down to.
You know,
People who
you
have
know,
less are happy. People who have
yes.
more, some of them are unhappy.
You know, when we focus on people and not things, that's the greatest form of happiness for me. I value quality moments and making memorable moments more than I value materialistic things.
Yes, for sure.
Time is the only thing, that's the only commodity that once it's gone, you can't get it back. You can get money, you can lose money and get it back. You can't lose a moment. I mean, you can't get another moment back.
You can't get at that moment back.
Hmm.
You can't get that moment back. So live for today and be kind, right?
And tomorrow's not promised, Shelly. Really not.
Not promise.
This,
And at some point in time, for every single one of us that walk this earth, we're
right.
not here anymore.
You know,
So
you know,
appreciate it.
one of my sayings is healing is a journey. It's not a destination. Healing and recovery. It's
Yes.
not a destination because we know what our end destination is. We're going to leave this body. The only thing that's really important is that dash in the middle. And what are you doing with it? Not only what you are receiving, but what are you giving?
Amazing. I just got full body shivers for that in a beautiful way. Like my
You know?
entire body just went, oh, I'm going to cry. So spiritually, how does this will take us into the next question I want to ask you. So how does your faith and spirituality influence your work and life's purpose? And again, I do have tears in my eyes because that was just so beautiful, by the way.
That's okay. Emotions are meant to be expressed,
Yeah.
not suppressed, Shelley. And
Yeah.
our body holds trauma. And when we've held on to trauma and pain and not released it for so long, it manifests into physical symptoms in our body and we
Mhm.
get ill,
Yeah.
so it's okay to express them. I used to not, I would fight, expressing any kind of emotion until
Yes.
it made me ill, and we
Yeah.
can get into that at another, and, later on. But as
Yeah.
far as my spirituality, it is the anchor by which I live and move and have my being. If I had not had my faith in my relationship with my Abba, I wouldn't be here.
Oh,
5 is the number of grace, Shelley. So I had 5 mental health diagnoses when I got out of the military because of the trauma.
yes.
I attempted to end my life 5 times, and thank God I wasn't successful.
Thank God.
So, for me, that was my sign that God was sparing me because He had greater things for me.
Yes. Wow. So your spirituality is daily then. It's like a daily.
Daily. I get up in the morning, I spend at least an hour in prayer and meditation and worship. I love music. Music moves me. You know,
Yeah.
there's a sound and a frequency that I need to hear in music, and just it makes me come alive. I love to dance and create. I used to teach dance, interpretive movement, just expressing the words to movement with your body. And then, my morning routine is I believe in keeping our temples together too. So I do a mindful movement.
Yes.
Um, so that's, 45 minutes of stretching, prayer, devotional, closing out with affirmations. And I do it with a community. So I've created a community that does that.
Oh,
So it's
beautiful.
very important. Yeah. That's the essence of who Michelle is.
Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. Uh, so then from there, now, obviously, your life experiences have brought you both personally and professionally to where you are today.
Yes.
And that is what both combined together, as with myself as well. But those are the two things um, that help us be better,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, what has inspired your journey to becoming a transformational speaker and recovery coach?
So, you've heard that term when you get sick and tired or sick and tired, and or when you get tired enough, you'll change.
Yeah.
That was me, in my household and my family growing up, there were certain things that were taboo that we didn't discuss.
Mhm.
We didn't talk about mental illness, especially in the African American community and household. I don't know about, no other cultures, but I know in mine, children were to be seen and not heard. So the things
Mhm.
that went on, the incest, the rape, the sodomy, all of that was not something that you talked about because you were to listen to adults. And I
Yeah.
saw the way those destructive behaviors that the women in my family were engaging in, because this was a generational thing. It didn't just begin with me. You
Yes.
know?
It
And
was, yeah.
so when I saw the effects of what it was doing to them, I just got to a point early in my early teens when I joined the military that I said no more. I'd be silent no more. That I would begin to speak out because silence breeds sickness. And I was living proof of that.
Yeah.
I became promiscuous in my teenage years, just trying to avoid that pain and numb everything down. I started drinking, and that was not like me. I was just engaged in very self destructive behaviors. And when I realized it, I said, Michelle, this is not you. I can't continue to do this. When
Yes.
the rubber met the road, I was getting out of the military, and they diagnosed me with not only with those mental health diagnoses, but with a heart condition that they said I'd never recover from.
Wow.
I was bedridden my first year out of the military, and I was like, God, I'm too young. I've got a daughter to raise. I've got a husband at the time. This is not it.
Mhm.
So, that anchored me back to my spirituality and, leaning on that and my faith and following the cardiologist, of course. After a year, I was completely healed, and they had never seen that.
Mhm. Wow, that's
So,
incredible.
yeah, so I was like, I need to speak out about this. How many other women are suffering? I've seen women, because we don't talk about things. Women, we put on this mask like everything is okay because we've got all these roles that we have to fulfill and take care of everybody else. But I saw women suffering, and I said, silent no more. If you hide it, you can't heal it. I am going to shout from every mountaintop. I am going to speak out about these injustices. Women are visibly invisible, especially as we begin to age in society. And I just decided, not on my watch.
No,
Hmm.
not on your watch. And being a woman in the military,
Yes.
being a woman and being a black woman in the
Yes.
military, right? Like, and then looking at your past traumas and where you've come now, and it's incredible what you're doing for other
Yeah.
women
Yeah.
and of all races, right? But you,
Right.
where you've come from and where you are now, it's wow, is all I can say.
You
So
know, I'm just, I'm grateful, and I feel like, names are very important to me, Shelly. I love the meaning of names. And I looked up my name, and it said it means gift from God or close to God. And gifts are meant to be given away. And so if He's given me the gift of life despite everything that I've encountered, that I'm going to be that gift to someone that needs a lifeline.
Yeah.
Just to let them know I've been where you are. I know where you are. I know you don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. I know all you see is darkness, but there is light at the end of that tunnel. There is light beyond the darkness. And I'm going to journey through that darkness with you.
I
No
love
judgment,
that.
no shame.
And the transition and like helping them get from point A to point B when they've got
Yes.
nothing and they don't know if they can live anymore and they don't know what to do. And I always say, even though at the times, and I almost talk about this in every interview that I do, but every single day of our life, even though we need help, we have the power to help at the same time.
Yes. Yes. You
Because
know,
every day I need help. Every
yes.
single day I need help.
We need one another.
We
Shelley,
need
the
one
root word of community is commune.
Right.
It's hardwired in our DNA for connection. And I
Yes.
believe when you've encountered a lot of trauma, adversity, whatever it may be,
Mhm.
there's a disconnect that comes within, in your heart. First of all, first the disconnect between you and your creator, and
Yep.
then between you and yourself, because you're numbing yourself to the pain, because you go into survival mode, and then by default, disconnect from our friends, family, and loved ones. But we were created for connection. And so being able to help women get to the root of what that wound is so that they can begin the journey to reconnecting,
Oh, beautiful.
that gives me such joy. That gives me such peace. And, I love, love, love fighting for the underdog, fighting for someone that society has deemed, unfixable.
Hmm. Unfixable. And yet the majority of us
Are.
are fixable.
We are
But
fixable,
we're
but
not even broken. We just
yeah,
need to readjust things and change things
exactly.
around. Maybe it's not even fixable. It's like just finding who we are again and
Finding our identity,
all right.
redefining our identity,
Oh, yes.
realizing our identity, you know,
Yeah.
and it's not even broken. It's, being realigned.
Realign. That's a better word for it because I never thought I was broken,
Hmm.
but I had to figure out who I was again.
Yeah.
So I wasn't broken. I just stepped off the path for a bit.
Get realigned. When I think about alignment, I think about the spine and the back and all that. And if one thing is off, then everything is out of alignment. So it's figuring out, okay, where did I go off the path? Let me realign that.
Realign it. So, how do your past experiences and background contribute to the ability to effectively address your clients that what they face and the challenges they face? So, I'm get like from what our conversation, from what I hear, it's like you've had so many experiences.
Hmm.
So, open up on that for me.
So, the ability to be able to connect with them on a human level, heart to heart. Because in society, we wear masks, we wear different hats. But to feel safe enough to be truly connected to an individual, that is my superpower. I've always, from a little girl, had the ability, even before I knew that I had the ability,
Yeah,
to be able to sense what was going on internally. And that's all people want to know, is that someone cares. They want to be seen. They want to know that someone truly sees beyond whatever mask that they're wearing. And I have the ability to do that and connect with that and sense that.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're not just someone that went to school and got a degree
No.
that came from that never experienced the military, that never experienced trauma. And I mean, a good portion of us have, but I mean,
Right.
the military that you, when you leave the military, I mean, that's got to have mental health stuff going on.
It does. 75% of people that walk through this life have encountered at least one trauma, and the
Yeah.
other 30 plus percent have compounded trauma, either four or more incidents of trauma. That's recent statistics. So we've all encountered something.
Yeah.
It's just some more than others. And those that in the military is a different kind of trauma. Even though I experienced that growing up, a lot of, sexual assault, incest, all of that, the most devastating sense of betrayal that I experienced was while I was in the military, because I was serving my country, because I'm a servant at heart. And what better way to serve than serve my country? And it gave me an ability to re-identify who I
So that was
was.
a question I was going to ask. Like, do you ever, now pretty much you've answered it for me. I was like, do you ever, I mean, you love your country, you love the people in your country, you want to serve for your country, but is there ever any times with the trauma that you went through that you were like, oh, it's not the most positive thing?
Yes, yes, because I felt that my command failed me. I'm fighting alongside with a fellow service member, and that service member that was supposed to, you know, be fighting with me and for me, violated me. So that was a deep level of betrayal
Absolutely,
on
that
my
is.
part, and it kind of shifted my mindset regarding the military. But of course, I just had to work through that, with therapy and work through it within myself because it
Mhm.
could happen anywhere. It happens in, Fortune 500s, it happens in hospitals, it happens in, universities, it happens in churches. It
Mhm.
just so happened to be, for me, it was the military.
Yes, for sure. So my next question, I'm going to move to the bottom, one of the last questions. So what's your vision? So I'm going to just switch it around because I think there's a little bit more. We'll finish kind of with that. But can
Right.
you share one of the defining moments in your life or career that has shaped where you are today? Now, we've heard some things, but is there something really, really specific that you're just like, this? Because I've got moments in my life like that where it's like, nope, this is specifically where it all changed for me. Do you have that?
Oh, yes. So I exited the military in 2003, and I spent probably the next 10 years trying to figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
what was my passion? What was the thing that I was called to do? And in that journey and in that search, I ended up going to Peru on an expedition with about 10 other disabled veterans. And it was an organization that helped veterans reintegrate back into the community. And it's called No Barriers. And they take these veterans on a mountaineering experience. Now, I have no mountaineering experience, had no idea what I'd gotten myself into.
Oh my
And
goodness. How
so,
long are you out there?
huh?
How long are you out there?
15 days.
Oh my goodness. Oh girl, with your
So,
high maintenance, don't just teasing you. How did you do
right?
that? I'm just kidding.
By faith and lots of prayer, literally, literally. So, we summited the Andes Mountain, Mariposa One, at a little over 17,000 feet. Like, I'm afraid of heights. And I had to confront two fears: my fear of the opposite sex, because, of my experience in the military, but also my fear of heights. And so, having to be roped in with these other veterans,
Hmm.
and, you know, um, I mean, it was freezing snow. My hair was icicles, and we're not just hiking, we're climbing. Like, I had an ice pick and crampons, and we were roped in together. And when they were roping us in, I'm like, well, what is this for? And they were like, oh, if one of you falls through the snow, you guys got to latch on so everybody doesn't fall through. And I'm smiling. And one thing about me, Shelly, the more I smile, the more afraid I am in
Oh my
situations like
goodness.
that. So I was just like, okay, heart just pounding, but. But when I got to the top of that mountain, the motto was, if you can climb a mountain, you can overcome any obstacles. What's within you is stronger than what's within your way. I really made that connection. And the paradigm shift for me was when I got to the top of that mountain, I realized that I didn't really want to die. I just didn't want to carry the excruciating pain that I was carrying within and masking it like everything was okay. So that was my paradigm shift.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You remember the defining moment where you're like, I love life. I have had
Yes.
trauma. I have had a lot going on. I've had thoughts of suicide,
No,
but
I have
I
experienced it.
don't want to die.
Yeah. Yeah. This was coming off of the fifth failed suicide attempt. And I was like, Lord, I can't do this anymore. If you don't meet me, I'm not going to make it, because I had lost at that point, within 2 months, a job, a relationship, my home. I was homeless at the time that I was climbing. And I was just at the end of my rope. I'm like, there's nowhere to go but up. But if I can get up this mountain, literally, then I can overcome anything, figuratively and literally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my God.
that was my defining moment. It was in 2013.
Well, I love when I hear moments like that because we know so many people are suffering with mental health issues,
Yeah.
depression, PTSD, anxiety. And when I hear moments like this, like that you're talking about, it gives, if people listen to this, it gives them hope that maybe one day they will get that moment. And if they could just get through one more day,
Yes.
through one more day, and if you can just think one more day, tomorrow will be
Yes.
better.
Yes. That's it. That's it. Honestly, when we really truly discover the power that we have within, and it all boils down to, I believe, unlocking your voice. Because if you think about it, Shelly, whatever that we've encountered, whatever betrayal, whatever adversity, it was a sense of our voice being stripped from us, whether
Mhm,
it's figuratively or literally. But
mhm.
being able to unlock that voice and pivot back to that point to reclaim your voice, that's tapping in or discovering the power that we truly innately have within. So, I ask people all the time when I'm talking to them, there's an acronym that I've coined. It's called CPR. And in a way, it is resuscitating you, but it's not the traditional
Mhm.
term. It's commit to going and growing through your pain, commit to it, to going through it and growing through it. Be persistent and persevering as you go through and grow through that pain. And then be resilient in going and growing through the pain. Because pain is the thing that makes us change. We don't change because of things we love, we change because of things we hate. And pain is the catalyst. Society has brainwashed us into pursuing pain and avoiding pleasure.
Bizarre, isn't it? What it's bizarre.
Yes.
So that's one reason why I even started Pursuit 365 was that I wanted people to have a safe space and
Yes.
very only 365 or words or less, but to be able to share something inspirational or life changing in a just to get that open. And I'll be really quick on a story. One of my very good friends, uh, she's in her 60s. She
Yes.
was sexually assaulted by, I believe, two family members when she was a
Yes.
little girl, and her parents told her never to talk about it.
Yes.
Both her parents passed away, and she had never told a family member. And she ended up writing about it in the book. And that's how her story and her healing started.
Yes.
She was like, Shelly, she phoned me up. She says, you have no idea what 365 words and me putting it out there, how it's changed my life. And now she gets on stage and talks about it.
Amen.
And then that's someone in their 60s. And then, I mean, obviously she's had other steps to help her heal, but owning it and realizing that there's nothing wrong with you. You're
Yeah.
still beautiful, and you're still a beautiful person, that what happened to you does not define you.
Yes, I haven't met her, but I love her already. That's that
You would love
fierceness.
her.
That's that fight.
It's
We all have it. And that is the beginning, being able to talk about it, being able to share it, being able to get it up and out of your body, being able to speak about it.
mhm.
Because, no matter when it happens, there's shame attached to that. There's guilt. There's what did I
Huge.
do?
Yeah.
There's fear because you don't know what the individual has said. If you say something, I'm going to kill this person, or you never know. So you're holding that for however long you hold it. I was so grateful, and I'm not going to be long in this, Shelly. The fifth year that I started speaking out publicly on at that time, a national platform, my mom came forward and told me about the experiences that she had in the military. But it took 5 years of me speaking out.
Wow.
It took years. She had joined the Navy and retired from the military and was still holding it. The
Yes.
pain knows no number, there's no age. And I am just going to be a catalyst of change, paving the way for other women that are younger and older to be able to speak it, release it, and be able to live the authentic life that they were created to be.
And financially, there's no barriers either. You could be someone, who is on the street,
Yeah,
and you can be living in a $20 million house.
I believe
Pain,
it's
not,
worse.
pardon me?
I believe it's worse when you're very affluent.
Yes.
because just from my experience, I've been mingled amongst both, and the level of loyalty and secrecy and, a sense of family, whatever you call it, as you get more affluent,
Yeah.
you're trapped. It's like living in a prison. I would not want to live like that.
No, no. Yeah, I agree with you. So, what message or action would you like our audience to take away from your speaking and coaching? So, there must be something when you're doing your own podcasts or you're speaking to your group. What is a message that is a takeaway for you?
So, what I would say to the man or the woman listening in, if you're contemplating whether or not to go on and continue to fight or not to live, I implore you to fight because you're not alone. You're
Mm-hmm.
seen, you're heard, you're loved, you matter, you're important. And don't allow your trauma to define you. Use it to refine you.
Yeah,
Reach out and get the help that you need because you're not alone.
I love it.
Yeah.
You're not alone. Oh, how many times have we felt alone
Yeah.
where you're just like, I'm so alone? I I tell this story sometimes as well, and I was what's called a 50 women of options in the city that I live in. So they took 50 women to raise money for a community service, and we
Hmm.
were supposed to raise $25,000 because we were building an apartment building for women fleeing violence, refugees,
Right.
troubled children, and then they would house them and then get them into jobs and protect them as well. And I was part of that community for 2 years in a row. And I was having a bit of trouble with something going on in my life.
Hmm.
And I was very upset. And I called my mother. My mom talked to me for a bit and she picks up the phone. She sends me a phone number and I call the phone number. And this is after the campaign ended. So I ended up going into the campaign again, but the campaign, and I phoned the number. I spoke to the woman on the phone for an hour and she helped me. And I hung up the phone. Well, I clicked my cell phone, looked at it, and it was Options, the company that I helped, or not the company, the charity that I helped raise money for.
Right.
And it was so beautiful to use a service that I supported, but
Right.
I needed the help that day. And then when they
Right.
asked me to come back again, I had to. I was like, you know what? I have to. Like, there's no
Yes.
choice. I have to here. It
Because
was
you
just,
got to benefit from a part of an organization that you helped support.
well, and it just showed that it doesn't matter who we are. We all need help sometimes.
We all need help. That's the key right there, Shelly.
We
We
do.
cannot do this thing called life alone.
So, how would you encourage people to apply what they've learned from you today or every day?
How to apply it?
Yeah, how do you apply it? Like, how do you apply it? Like, do you get up in the morning? Do you have a list that you do? Do you have a mentor? Like, how do you apply what you do?
So, when I say that you can't go through this life alone, I believe every coach needs a coach or a mentor. Um,
Hmm.
so, get connected with a community, get connected with a coach, whatever your endeavor is. If it's just to get through life, get
Hmm.
connected with a community, volunteer that have the same interests that you do. If you're trying to grow in your professional, your spiritual development, get a coach that knows more than you know about what it is that you're trying to do. I have a business coach, I have a finance coach, I had a physical fitness coach, but I'm now, I can train now. So I do,
See
I
what you're
train
doing.
others.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. But I surround myself with a community of those that will challenge and charge me and hold me accountable because this is the thing. You need accountability and you need community. Those are
Absolutely.
the two things for long term success. Every day, you need to be able to check in with someone other than yourself because, again, we're not created to do this thing called life alone. We're created for community. So find your tribe and stay connected.
I love it. And you know what's one that I've just added to mine?
Go ahead.
A younger mentor.
Yes.
So I've got my mentor, but then I've chosen a younger one because they see things so much differently.
Yes.
They teach me, or he teaches me a
Hmm.
lot that that getting older now that I wouldn't know about. So a younger mentor as well that I when I added that, it was just by fluke. It was like, you know what, you're teaching me a lot, but it's because different generations, right? And
Mhm.
we're talking 20 years younger as well, not not even just a couple of years.
Right. Through
Mhm.
they see life through the skew of a different lens. So I learned so much from my daughter. I
Mhm.
teach her, but she teaches me so much more. And most of my mentors, I believe the majority of them are younger than me. I may have one or two that are older, but I'm young at heart anyway. To me, age is nothing but a number.
It is. It's nothing but number. So, what's next for Michelle Speaks and her company, and what do you have to share with everyone that's exciting for you, exciting for them? I always say there's always something coming up.
So exciting for me! Actually, later this month, I will be part of a conference called Deeper Women, where we help. The visionary helps women heal, lead, and inspire, and leverage their story. So I'll be speaking there in Detroit or later this month. In Atlanta later next month. I'll be in DC next month as well, filming a docu series, the the making of an entrepreneur. So I'm focused on spreading this message and continuing to make it global. We to date we've reached over 189,000 people that we've
Oh my
impacted.
goodness.
Mhm.
Congratulations. That is
Thank
quite the
thank you. And I
that's
want to I want to impact more. I want to continue to create impact, influence, and increase with like-minded individuals. So I'm grateful to be a part of the 365 Pursuit family. And so
thing.
what's coming up for Michelle Speaks is continuing to make it a global name. That if
Well,
you
and what's amazing is that because we call ourselves a community without borders,
yes.
we're now in, I think we're in 13, 10, no, 12 countries, members from now. No, whoop, whoop. We're planning a cross United States speaker series as well.
Okay.
And we will keep you in mind for that. Absolutely. Because I think
Thank
you'd
you
be
so
wonderful to
much.
have on stage.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Just a lot in the pipeline. I've got some retreats coming up that I'm going to be leading for an organization,
Mhm.
American Warriors Association. It's the Women Veterans Faith-Based Retreat division. That's the division that I'll be leading. But so I'm just super excited. I'm a free spirit, so wherever the opportunity takes me, that's where I'm going.
So, how can individuals connect with you to support your cause or your organization? Now, we will be putting it down below, but I want to hear it from you.
So if you want to connect with me, you want to follow with me, you want to engage with me, connect with me, all of my social media handles, IG, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, is Michelle Speaks with a Z, MICHELLESPEAKZ. Or reach out to me by my website, michellespeakswithaz.com.
Oh,
Let's
you have
connect. Yes. Huh?
that's great. .com. We got to remember that because we got people from all over the world here. So .com.
And
Michelle
a
speaks
Z.
with a Z.
Yes, with a Z. That's the hook. If you hide it, you can't heal it because there is a Michelle Speaks out of Maryland. But we have different missions, different visions. But yeah, Michelle Speaks with a Z to
Okay,
connect
perfect.
with me. Hmm.
And for those Canadians, that's a Z.
Okay.
No, it's
Dot
okay. He
com.
said, well, yeah. Anyways, okay. Well, you know what? I normally only go for 35 minutes max. We did 43 in a bit.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and the reason why, Michelle, is I find you incredibly interesting. I love your story,
Thank you.
and you're having a lot of impact in the world. So I was like, let's just keep going on here. I love this. The
Let's
energy.
go with the flow. That's me. And I can tell that's you. I love your spirit, Shelly.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Well, I'm not going to keep you any longer. Viewers, we're going to put all the information down below, and we will be having Michelle around more and hopefully speaking at some of our events when we come to the United States of America.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Michelle. You have a wonderful day, and thank you for spending your time with us today.
Thank you.
Bye.